Alright, this is John Hanson back again to talk about NXT power programming and the utilities that are available that are described in this book that are part of the BRICS Command Center. Also available on Mac OS and Linux platforms. We started off talking about how to install the compiler and use it on Linux. We're going to keep talking about that in this video as well. So we've got our Ubuntu 64-bit virtual machine running. In a previous video, we installed and configured our compilers and our source code, and we know where the make files are in the BRICS folder. We know that most of the utilities can be built using Tools Unix 64. So we're going to make some more utilities with Tools Unix 64.mak. So we're going to build the NXT Explorer. And I'm going to turn my NXT back on because it powered down. And then just to verify, file.x64/NXT Explorer. It's an L64-bit utility, and we're going to run it. It wants to know how we want to connect. These options were read from the nxt.dat file. Just really quickly, let me show you where you can find that file. It lives in your home folder, in the BRICS folder, in this nxt.dat file, and it's created with, you can create it with the next tool utility that we talked about previously. If you tell it to -init, it will create or replace the contents of this file with any brick that it finds, and you can rename this whatever you want. Alright, so JCH is now my brick with this serial number. So this is the key to which brick you're talking about. Go ahead and save that. Go ahead and exit. Go ahead and close that. Cancel that. Close that. And then I'm going to run it again. And now you can see that instead of the serial number, it just lists JCH, and I can click that, click OK, and it connects to my brick just fine. And you can sort by size, you can sort by file name, you can delete files, you can erase all the files, you can defragment the file system, upload files, download files, run a selected executable. So this PT test will play several tones. This will just play one tone. So I played one. This will play 4 separate tones of different frequencies. And while it's running, we can stop it. So I stopped it even though it was running. I don't know if you could see that on the screen, but the little circle is spinning around. And I stopped it. And it said, okay, yeah, I stopped. If I let it play all the way through, it will play a total of 4 separate tones. So that's that. And if you want, you can refresh. And then we'll go ahead and close that. So that worked just fine. Awesomeness. Let's see. Let's try and build NXT Direct. Well, that's not the right one. There we go. NXT Direct. And there's some warnings there, but it successfully built. Don't want to drop anything. File.x64/NXT Direct. It's an L64-bit executable, just like we hoped it would be. We're going to connect with the whole brick resource name. You can type that in if you want. As long as it's got the right format and the right serial number, it will successfully connect. So I wanted to just show this. I've got 2 motors. As you can see, here's a couple of EV3 motors. I've got one EV3 motor connected to port A and a NXT motor connected to port B. And let's just see what happens. Look, it's running. That's using direct commands to talk to the NXT. We can hard break it. It resists motion. You can still turn it, and then we can put it on float. It turns much more freely. If we hard break it, it can be turning, but it's much harder. And then we'll go ahead and turn on B. Rotate it the opposite direction. Can you see that? Alrighty. And then we'll float both motors. Okay, so that's the direct controller. You can also set sensor types, but we're not going to do. I don't have any sensors hooked up, so we won't do anything with that. Alright, so that's the direct controller. These are all tools that are available in BrickCC on a Windows platform. So the same tools are available on Linux and Mac OS as well. So let's try next screen. And it didn't like that. Okay, so I need to fix the makefile for that. Just so you'll know, that's a makefile issue. This particular file. Let's go ahead and really quickly fix that. 64.okay. Let's just show you how if you get these kind of errors, which I will fix them and check in the fix as I see them. But the NXT screen needs to have that reference right here, so it builds that. If it's not already built, then it doesn't know how to build it unless you tell it that it's required. Once you tell it that it's required, then down here it tells it how to build it right there. So we'll save that, we'll exit, and hopefully that will be everything we need to do to fix that particular error. Let's have a look. Yep, so that was all that was wrong with that. As you can see, that's a 64-bit LSB executable. We can run that. We can tell it to connect to JCH. USB works as well, obviously. And then you can see here, nothing on the screen, but this is what I see there. I can say pull now, and it will show me whatever is on the NXT screen. I can also set the refresh rate. I would recommend not going below about 200 milliseconds because it uses a lot of CPU, especially if you're running on a virtual machine. We'll set it to, in fact, we'll set it to 200 milliseconds. And then we'll say pulling or control P. And so, as you can see, as I move around on the NXT, it will show me everything that I see. So we can just check our NXT version screen right here. And this shows that I currently have it running the NBC NXT enhanced firmware with 1.32. So the regular firmware will not have anything right here. But the enhanced NBC NXT firmware says NBC NXT right there. So that's how you can tell that. This is the brick serial number, and that's what matches the version, the number you're seeing in the list bricks and in that in the raw and the full brick resource string. There are options and utilities here. You can change the brick name from here. You can set your preferences for the background color. If you want it to be a white background, you can do that. Or you can set it to be money green, which is the default. A little bit of some GUI issues here I need to fix. The default image folder is the John/documents. The base file name is NXT image _. The file type is PNG, and it'll automatically increment and index as you take snapshots of the current image, or you can tell it to use a timestamp as well. And so we just, anytime you want, you just say save. Yeah, that's what you do. Control S, and press stop, and let's say Control S. The non-Windows versions do not currently have functional buttons. I will fix that very shortly. but currently, as checked in, these buttons don't do anything. On the Windows version, if you click on these buttons while a program is not running, like right as it is right now, then it will respond to those button clicks, and it will actually, if you have play clicks selected like this, it will actually play the sound, a click sound on your computer, just like it would normally play the click sound on the NXT. And that's pretty much. You can make it smaller. You can sort of fiddle with the size of the image. Apparently, the size of the form is not resizing on Linux. On Windows, it actually resizes that form as well. But in any case, that's a little bug I need to fix. But 2.5 is the default size. And on a Mac, it's instead of control click, it's I think it's option click or something. Anyway, so that's the next screen. Let's really quickly go for everything. The NXT Tools has all of those tool windows. I'll warn you, there's a little bit of a problem currently. There's a problem with the watch tool that causes a little bit of grief for the NXT Tools utility and the NXT CC utility. But let's build this and we'll come back to this in just a second.